Another day, another box crunching episode. We're episode number 50. 50 days of covering the NBA, which is crazy. And it's awesome. It's been awesome. And I hope it goes even better as we march on to 100 episodes and 150 episodes and the end of the season and everything. So, if you enjoy this type of content, leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment about your favorite game, favorite moment, what did you take away from today's games, and let's get into it as we start in Charlotte as the Knicks blow out the Hornets. And with the Knicks back at 500, they got another good win away from home against the Hornets, who have been in most of their games and have been pretty frisky, if I might say, but the Knicks were just better today. Julius Randle had 33.7 rebounds to assist, 11 of 14 from the free throw line. You got RJ Barrett with one of his better games of the season with 26, 7 and 4. Jalen Brunson with 11 and 11. You got Quentin Grimes with 11 points. You got Emmanuel Quickly off the bench with 11. Isaiah Hartenstein with 11 and 8 off the bench. Just overall great team performance from the Knicks. They are what we thought they are, the mid team. I hope they finish 41 and 41. I really hope that, because that would be hilarious to me. And a great win. On Charlotte's side, you don't have much to talk about, really. PJ Washington didn't play his best. Kelly Oubre had 20, as he does almost every game. Terry Rozier was efficient tonight. He had 24 points. And the bench didn't do much. And as always, they lose. Then we move on to Indiana, where my frisky Pacers win again after a long road trip back home against the Wizards. And Indiana is just a good team, man. They keep proving it to us, and Tyrese Haliburton is a perennial all-star. He had 23 points, 11 assists, just 1 turnover, 9 of 14 from the field. A great game from him. You got Buddy Hield with 28, you got Miles Turner with 14. Off the bench, Benedict Mathurin back at it with 18 points and 8 rebounds, even though he didn't shoot a free throw. And even though Jalen Smith was struggling, you got O'Shea Brissett coming in, hitting 3-pointers, 16 and 8 off the bench. And they just have a great mentality, and I love them, as I keep saying every time. Shout out to them. Hopefully they can sneak into the playoffs. It would be awesome. On the Wizards side, it's sad, kinda, because it's the same old story. Once again, Bradley Beal is injured. Kristaps Porzingis, 29 points on 13 shots. He was pretty awesome offensively. The defense is not that good. You got Jordan Goodwin off the bench with 19, which is solid. Solid performances, but just not enough defense and not enough firepower. The Wizards are kinda sad to me, man. Then we move on to Orlando, the Disney World, as the Magic beat the Raptors at home. And the Raptors are in a bit of a weird... state, as they are kinda inconsistent right now. Fred VanVleet has lost his shot, and he's been really struggling from the field. He was 5 of 14 today for 19 points. You got Gary Trent off the bench, who's been much better looking at least. Scottie Barnes has been really struggling in his second year overall. He had just 6 points, 6 rebounds to assist tonight. Then you have Pascal Siakam, who's on an not MVP level, but on an All-NBA first, second team level. He had 36, 9 and 7 tonight, and he was sensational. And it doesn't matter. You got OG Anunoby, who was also really good, even though his offense was not there tonight. He's one of the best defenders in the NBA and should be one of the Defensive Player of the Year candidates for the trophy. And it's just a team that is not meshing as well as we would like to, and has too many inconsistencies right now, and that's why they lose in Orlando to Orlando, with Paolo and Franz Wagner both having amazing games. As Franz Wagner had 34 points, 5 rebounds to assist, 12 of 15 from the field. He was sensational in his 32 minutes, man. Paolo with 23.6 rebounds, 4 assists, 8 of 11, one of his most efficient games in a long time, because he's not been as efficient since he came back from that injury. Then you had both guards who returned just like 3 games ago, Markelle Fultz and Cole Anthony, having good games. 18 points for Cole Anthony off the bench, 15 points for Markelle Fultz, and, well, nobody else showed up really, but they still won, and the young guys played really well, and you just love to see it, man. Then we move into Brooklyn, as the Hawks, still without their 3 starters, lose in Brooklyn. And you had Ben Simmons back, as he returned to action, played 20 minutes at 6, 6, 7 and 4 steals with 4 turnovers. He was okayish out there, nothing special, right? But it's good to see him back again. Hopefully they can manage his minutes much better with, them actually playing good basketball. Shout out to Kyrie, he was sensational today, I might say. 33, 11 and 3, even though he had 6 turnovers, he had 5 offensive rebounds, and I was going crazy with Hawks allowing him he had like 3 offensive rebounds in that fourth quarter, which is insane to me, but it happened. So they out-hustled the Hawks, they outshot the Hawks, and a good win for them with TJ Warren also coming along. He played 21 minutes again, had 14 points on 6 of 8 shooting, which is, bodes well for him. And you got KD being KD. He hit those 2 threes down the stretch. Otherwise, he was 0-5 before, but down the stretch he hit them, 34, 4 and 4, and just a really good win as the Nets are sneakily up there, in the in the Eastern Conference. Then we move on to Cleveland as the Cavs lose a game at home without Donovan Mitchell. But to not undermine the Kings, they were without De'Aaron Fox tonight, and which was a really big bummer because I was really excited for this game, and it was exciting either way. It was a back and forth game. The Cavs started off really slowly, then they got back into it. They were in the lead. Then you got the Kings coming back and taking control in that fourth quarter. Especially the starters were incredible for the Kings, but it was disappointing to not see Donovan Mitchell and De'Aaron Fox both out there, man. But hopefully they will be fine for next games. The Domantas Sabonis tonight, incredible, 18, 18, 6, 3 steals and 2 blocks. You got Kevin Huerter with 19, you got Keegan Murray with 18, he had 6 threes. He shot only 3s, but he made 6 of them. You got Harrison Barnes being really good, 20 points. Davion Mitchell as a starter had 8 points, defended really well and made it hard on Cleveland. The bench didn't play as well as they usually are, but it was enough against Cleveland, who is still fine. They just, didn't have their star and had one bad game. That happens to every team, right? And Cherry Osman off the bench was a positive. Darius Garland didn't shoot the ball well, he had 6 turnovers, a rough game from him. Caris LeVert at least had 22, 6 and 6, even though he was not that efficient and that great in the game. It's better to see him score actually, right? Because he's not been great overall this season. Hopefully he's starting to figure it out. You got Evan Mobley with 16, 7 and 4. Jared Allen just 9 and 8. Not enough from the Cavs tonight. Just a bit disappointing from them tonight. Then you had one of the wildest games I've ever watched. That was a weird game between the Sixers and the Lakers. And it always felt like the Sixers were separating. They were gonna comfortable win, and then the Lakers came storming back, and it was a back end of the fourth game. The leads were changing. The Sixers felt like they were mostly in front. Then they took off and had that 18-point lead in that fourth quarter. Everyone thought the game was over, and then it wasn't, as they blew like a 10-point lead during like a minute 20. And those last 20 seconds where they missed some free throws, they turned the ball over like crazy. It was incredible. The Lakers then had a chance to win it. They had, Austin Reeves missed a free throw, Anthony Davis missed a free throw, and if he made it, they would have won the game. And it just was a wild game. I've never seen anything like it, I feel like. And then they scored just 2 points in overtime. I was baffled, man. I never seen anything like it, and it was wild. A wild-ass game. You got DeAnthony Melton hitting 8 threes, 11 of 16 from the field, 33 points, 7 steals. He was sensational, and that's what I thought he would do as a role player for him. You got James Harden looking much better in his second game back, 28 points, 12 assists, just 5 turnovers, which is a good turnover ratio. You got Joel Embiid with 38, 12 and 5, and he started off the game so hot, and then he kind of cooled off, but he came back in it and was sensational. And, well, the bench was not that great, right? But Matisse Thybulle was really solid in the dunker spot. He had some wide open dunks, defended pretty alright, and a good win for the Sixers, even though it was really scary out there at that fourth quarter. AD had 31 and 12. He was really good out there. Shame he had foul trouble, because it really, slowed the game down for him, and he had to kind of take over that fourth quarter. LeBron was not good today. He really struggled from the 3-point line, and overall was just not as efficient and effective as he usually is. Russ didn't play that well also. Even though he had a triple-double, he was not good today, I felt like. But you had Austin Reeves, who was sensational, man. He had 25 points, and he's been really solid for him. I really like Austin Reeves, man. I wonder what he's gonna get in the offseason, because he's been really, really great for him. Rough loss for the Lakers. We'll see how they move on from here, because, they had this good stretch. Now they lost. They have a really tough road ahead of them in this month, so we'll see at the end of December with where the Lakers stand. But with AD playing like this, I think they'll be fine, right? Then we move on to Memphis as the Grizzlies blow out the Pistons. And the Pistons made it closer in the end, but it was a blowout. In the third quarter, the Grizzlies took like a 20-point lead and it was pretty much over. But what was great to see is that Jalen Duren started. He had 10 points, 12 rebounds. Solid outing from him. You got Marvin Bagley, who was benched and actually played solid, 14 and 9 off the bench, and you know you need that competition. Kevin Knox keeps being solid off the bench. You got Sadiq Bey struggling tonight off the bench offensively, but he was still really good out there off the bench. And just a struggle game for Killian Hayes and Jaden Ivey, which happens, right? And they won some games, and they need to lose a little bit, right? Also, so it is certainly not a shame to lose to these Grizzlies, who are incredible. Even though Ja struggled tonight, he had 15, 6, and 12. He struggled from the field. But he was still, you know, really effective otherwise on the game. You still felt his impact. And the others stepped up. You got Steven Adams with 10. You got John Conchar with 8 on 8 shots. You got Jaren Jackson with 20 points on 12 shots. You got Dillon Brooks with 16 on 14 shots, which is special from him. Tyus Jones at 10, Brandon Clark at 17 and 7 off the bench, and they are second in the Western Conference and still without Desmond Bane, which is really spooky, man. Really spooky stuff from the Grizzlies. Then you had the Phoenix Suns losing to the Pelicans between, you know, the number 1 seed matchup or whatever you want to call it. Revenge for last season's playoffs. The Pelicans win. We all saw that controversial moment, right? Zion dunking at the end with the windmill, and yeah, I loved it, man. Really loved it. Shout out to Zion. For the Suns, it's another rough loss in a bigger game, and Chris Paul, even though, you know, he struggled in that game against the Celtics, he was sensational today with 24, 8, and 7, but he's still Chris Paul, and he still finds a way to be unlikable, as he always does, and I'm not sorry about it. I just don't like the guy, I don't understand how guys like him, but it's all fair, right? We all have people that we don't like, that we can respect and everything, so yeah, that's about it, what I have to say about the Suns. D-Book struggled. You got 18 with 25 and 14. The bench was solid for them, right? Damian Lee with 12 points. He was really impactful in his minutes. Campaign struggled off the bench tonight. And they lose against a good team, right? Zion has been on an MVP level there. 35, 7, and 4. He's unstoppable. He's so fun to watch. He's so likable for me. And I just love watching Zion, man. Shout out to him, because he brings so much fun to the NBA more to me. The bench was incredible. You got Larry Nance and Jose Alvarado with 20 points and 17 points respectively. Larry Nance, when he's on, he's so good off the bench. He had 17 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 steals, 1 block with 24 minutes, 7 of 10 from the field, 3 of 4 from the free throw line. He was special. And Jose Alvarado, when he is hitting like this and his defense, it's just a match made in heaven. And they've been doing this with CJ McCollum having a really bad stretch. He's been really bad in the last 15 games. He's shooting like 48% from the field, you know, in true shooting percentage from the field. He's shooting 48% true shooting percentage. He's not been great, but they keep winning and are now number 1 seed. Brandon Ingram should be back during maybe tomorrow, maybe next week, we'll see. And it's a really great team, man. We'll see how, you know, if they can stay healthy. Then we head on to Utah as Rudy Gobert returned to Utah and the Timberwolves get a win on the road. And even with Anthony Edwards struggling heavily from the field, 14 points or 14 shots, you got D'Angelo Russell, who had like 25 points in that fourth quarter or something like that, 20 points at least. He had 30 points. He was sensational in a back-to-back fourth quarters, and the starters otherwise stepped up. He had 22 points, 13 rebounds. Then you have Kyle Anderson with 15, 7, and 12, 2 steals, 1 block. Jaden McDaniels with 11, Naz Reid with 12 off the bench, and they get a huge win as they are still without Cat and they need to rack up some wins. And with the Utah Jazz, they, you know, kind of struggled everyone. Mike Conley returned off the bench, but, you know, he played just 24 minutes and he was solid. But the defense was really off today from everyone, and well, if you don't play defense, you're not gonna win many games. And they didn't shoot that badly, but 29% from the 3-point line, 30% from the 3-point line, it's just not enough, right? And 43% overall from the game. It's, when you don't play defense, that's not gonna be enough. And they need to start playing better defense. And then we had to Dallas, where there was another game that I felt like I never watched anything like this, as the Mavs lose at home to the Bucks. And the Bucks did this with Giannis fouling out with like 3 minutes to go. He had 28 and 10 on the night and was not great with 7 turnovers. Chris Middleton had 19 points, 5 assists. And Brook Lopez made just 1 shot, and it was the game winner, as they ran a great play. He got wide open, layup essentially, and then, Luka, they all knew. The clip has been going around, as the Bucks all knew what they were gonna run, and Luka was the only one that noticed it, and they couldn't do anything about it, and he just had to take that tough step back 3 to his left, which he always does from that left corner. Jrue Holiday had 17, 7 and 6. He was pretty solid. You got Bobby Portis with 10, solid outing from him. Grayson Allen had 12, and Pat Connaughton and George Hill were both really great. George Hill especially hit those 2 threes in the 4th quarter, made that pass that, was to the Brook Lopez dunk that won the game. And on the Dallas side, it was really frustrating. And on Dallas' side, it was really frustrating, as Luka was frustrated, and, well, they missed like 6 free throws or 4 free throws, or I don't know how many free throws in a row at the end of that game, and they really blew it, right? They just blew it without Giannis out there. They just blew the game. Luka was okay, not his best game to his standards, same as Giannis. They were okay for their standards on these type of games, but the Mavs just failed Luka tonight, and it was rough, and it's rough to watch him complain about everything, right? But you kind of feel for him tonight, because it was nasty out there. Just a nasty game, and overall performance from everyone apart from Luka, I would say, honestly. Maybe Josh Green gets a pass because I like him. I'm sorry. I don't know. The Mavs are. The Mavs are what they are. We all know what they are. I keep saying it. And last but not least, and that does it today, right? That's it. Really fun slate with 2 of the wildest games I've ever seen, and some really close games, some really entertaining moments, and I loved it, man. Today was one of the most fun times I've had watching basketball this year. And tonight we have some solid games with the Pacers against the Nets. That should be a good one. The last game was sensational, and they're both on a back-to-back. Mavs against the Wolves. Cavs Thunder should be fun, and you got, Warriors Celtics, the NBA Finals repeat, and we all feel like the Celtics are gonna destroy my Warriors, right? So that's gonna be interesting to watch. You got the Nuggets against the Jazz, and Trailblazers against the Timberwolves. So some fun matchups. I'll be here to cover them all as always. Like and subscribe, leave a comment, what was your favorite moment, and I'll see you all tomorrow.